And so we were just doing a debrief of Earth Day, which was held, you need to hit okay, or I'm not sure. Which was actually held on what we considered our rain date, April 23rd, because of the weather. Tom, I know you were there. Do you have any things that we need, anything that we want to put in the record for next time? Too many hot dogs, not enough hot dogs? Any of the things that you were responsible for that we should make note of?
You know, that the hot dog, we just never know with the hot dogs
Right,
what we're gonna get. No, I thought everything went really, really well. And looking around town, there was a lot of places cleaned up, so I think it went over really well.
yeah, so everything was positive that was said in the room prior, prior to that comment. Anybody else that was participated that wanna share any comments or anything that we can make better for next year or definitely do again next year?
I thought it struck me that it was a really good age-friendly event. Like there really was wide participation from a lot of different age groups, and that was cool to see. My only like feedback was maybe it was a little unclear at the beginning, like if you were supposed to check in, if you were supposed to wait for some kind of like, welcome to Earth Day, you know, because people were a little bit like confused about where to go. We probably could have brought more tools if we wanted people to do other projects besides picking up trash. So that was just some thoughts for next time.
Yep. And some people trickled in, they weren't there right at the beginning, or 9 or 9:30, they trickled in later, and
Yeah.
but I think Michelle had the clipboard and deployed them to different places. Yeah, and there was one group that went up to Jerry Pond and waited for, or at the mouth of, or at the road or whatever, but we knew that that was closed, and she was able to
Oh,
send
it's
that,
closed.
send that, yeah, the road wasn't open yet because of the mud, yeah.
Good hike.
Yeah,
Keep-
somebody could
keep
yeah,
them
well, we could have
healthy.
walked more down there, so. All right, so over, you know, overall, that was a great event, and I'm thinking we should look to make that an annual event, perhaps for this
course.
committee going forward. I know that the town appreciated it. So next on the agenda, I just wanted to throw it out there and say that I had a request from the Trails End Committee to host a 5K walk run again this year. It would be Saturday, September 13th. So can only do it. We have volunteers. I will say that I was able to see and speak with Mickey Lackey and Carrie Richardson, who helped out greatly last year. And they said yes. So we know we have their assistance, but are there others here that potentially want to get behind that event and be part of it so that I can give a response to the Trails End Committee?
My question is, what does success look like for that event? Because I know last year we probably had 10 people,
Right.
and it was, you know, they did a lot of work, but I'm just wondering like what our goal is with the event. And if it is, we're fine with it being really small and kind of grassroots, then that's fine, but what, yeah, wanted to put that out to you.
Or is there a way to get the word out?
Right, yeah, so it was a little,
Earlier than
yeah,
we were starting
and-
last year, so that's
yeah.
encouraging on that front, but
right.
yeah.
No, that's a good question, a good point. It was late in the ask to pull it off, so it was just like 2-3 weeks prior to, and so there wasn't promotion and it wasn't an initial you know, schedule of events and stuff, and that was one thing that Mickey said, oh, we've got a lot more time this year to get the word out and yeah, to get people involved, and yeah,
It was
what,
kind of a test run last
yeah,
year.
yeah.
I'd love to see some of the fall sports teams from Stearns, like get involved, just younger people and an age-friendly kind of vibe, but all the ages, so. Maybe we could recruit.
And I know it didn't take a lot of volunteers, we just need, you were there.
Yeah.
As long as you could, and I know I was there, and just as far as some different checkpoints and to keep people on the route sort of thing. But again, it's a commitment for those 2-3 hours that morning. It happens pretty quickly from start to finish, but anybody wish to say yes, count on me, or bring it up again another meeting? Or do you suppose there's other groups that we can get to collaborate with us to be volunteers, so we do say yes and we work on
I wonder if it could be an age-friendly and Tautenary Trails collaboration, because I know they do other 5K in the summer, and is there some way to work with them on this?
Hmm.
Yeah. That sounds like a
Tap into
reasonable
their
thing.
network, at least.
Especially getting volunteers. you know.
Right. Yeah,
I think there would be some energy behind it.
so do we wait and make a decision at the next, after we've reached out to another group, or do we say yes and then we just try to make it happen? Just wondering how we should, kind of commitment we should make for ourselves, yeah.
I have visitors that weekend, so I can't volunteer, but I think make a commitment and then work from there, I would say.
I think anytime we can have a community event, we should do it.
Hmm.
I can't say that I'm necessarily, it's a long time away.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I guess
Yes.
because I've got the two that are most knowledgeable about it, they said yes, as far as Carrie.
Yeah, I can get there and, I mean, I met with you last year.
Yeah.
and, yeah.
Was there any kind of fundraising aspect to it? I don't remember.
No, it was all free.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd had leftover T-shirts from years prior to when I was involved with it that they weren't dated, but that was Trails End 5K. Yeah, I don't know if we have an opportunity to do anything like that,
Do you,
promote it.
you collaborate at all with Trails End
The
group?
The group itself, well, they reached out and asked us to do it, so they're looking for groups to
Oh.
do.
So they
events,
could
yes.
add it to their advertising.
Right.
Yeah, I would
right.
say commit. It's not that far away, actually, you know.
I know, yeah.
If you want to take a vote, I vote for committing, so.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like being in an exit round.
I know, right?
I'll do it.
Yeah, right. Anybody else on the screen want to weigh in or?
Anybody want to run?
Yeah, right. Run, walk, participate. No strong feelings either way, so we'll go with it. and,
Hmm.
Yeah, make it happen. Okay.
It's
So,
kind of cool. We have a winter event, a spring event.
right,
A summer/fall event.
Right.
You know, kind of spaced out throughout the year.
yeah. That's a good way to look at it. And we're gonna create our action plan because we have to do a progress report and then figure out what do we wanna continue to do going forward. So maybe, we kind of make that part of our signature, something like we have with the snow down. So not a bad thing to take on or to commit to or whatnot. So, and so I put on the agenda age-friendly action plan progress report, because when we created this document and sent it in 2022, we do the math and it's 2025 now. It's been how many years, right?
Yikes,
Yeah,
yikes.
we're 3 years into it. So I did reach out to Patricia to get some feedback on what format that they like to see, because we need to submit it to her at the state level, and it's actually, it's a federal program. So she sent me some guidelines. They have a progress report suggested outline, which I've started to follow, and I'm going to ask you guys some questions, but I will say part of it is I'm actually going down toward the action plan. And you remember we had activities and all that. I'm going through each activity in each domain and put the activity and then any
I
kind of
see the
progress.
blood stains on.
Any progress related to it. So I have started it. I've got the template, and I think, for ease or just process wise, I will reach out to the different collaborators that were involved in it. And there's a part that you involved to ask. There's some, Barbara, I'm looking at you, that'll ask for some updates, and there's some library specific and that we can put in where the progress is, completed. Some of it I said completed, but ongoing or in progress or not started. So that we kind of wind down, but we are going to want to figure out what we want to create going
Do we
forward.
remain age friendly in terms of their category? Forever, kind of, or?
Yeah, as long as, we'll then create another action plan
Okay,
to submit and keep doing the work. So when you say forever, it's like. the
well, I
ones
just
we're engaged-
wondered, do we have to do a 5-year action plan every 5 years or 3 year?
I'll have to, some do it 5 years, some do it 3 years, so I
Okay.
will see what the criteria, they seem to have, when they change leadership, sometimes they change.
And they've
criteria, but-
canceled some AmeriCorps programs throughout the country
Indeed.
under Trump, yeah.
Okay, so I just, but in, what was also suggested, I've got some of the other communities, so Patricia said, look at Elliot's aging in place after action plan. And so she thought this was a really good template, so I want to make sure I get tons of pictures, but it goes back through like an introduction, you know, a progress report, and they're asking like to include in there like a summary of what are you most proud of accomplishment? So that's what I wanted to ask the group here, just like what comes off the top of your head, those have been involved with this for the last 3 years. If you just think about this group, what are we most proud of accomplishing through this committee? And in the executive summary, it says to highlight, you know, 3 of your key achievements. So I know for me, it came up the AmeriCorps member contributions, because that was huge in the beginning of it, you know, and I'm thinking probably, you know, you want to put in there and something in honor of Sarah as well. It made me think of her too. So I don't know if the top people that have been involved in this, as far as what are you most proud of accomplishing, as far as this.
But snow down event's a good one, put in
Mhm.
there,
Yep,
that's been
annual,
kept
yep,
up, yeah.
yep,
New signage on the Micho Trail,
Yep.
inclusive signage,
Mhm.
our teen activity room. Farmers market,
yep.
time capsule.
Yeah, so there's something back here in the activity. I want to get the time capsule information there, yeah. 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 you can hear that. So I heard the snow down, and actually there's a place in there we'll put on, and I want some pictures for the Micho Trail because the signage, and yeah, that was a big one as well.
We have a lot of those already taken, we can find.
Yep. Yep. Is there anything else? Do you need to think about it a bit, or, you know, people, I can send out to folks where I am on the activity, the progress report that was from our actual action plan,
Yeah, you can see that
to see that, yeah, okay.
whenever you're ready.
I know, right, yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't want to have to like put it up and go through that process here, but we want to complete this, you know, sooner rather than later, and then figure out what our action plan is going forward, you know, what are our key focus areas of this committee? Continue to stick to, and
The smoke detector,
yeah,
grant, that's it,
yeah,
I think for you.
yeah, yeah, so I'll check with Jonathan, we'll make sure that gets put in there, some of those things that have happened with the municipality and those. Yeah,
The transportation funds we're trying to raise, any
yeah,
traction?
no,
I
Yeah.
didn't think so.
yeah, but that is a key, you know, accomplishment, that, because that happened within that 3 years, is we had 3 different grant funding opportunities for that to happen with Penquist and to provide the rides.
Good one, yeah.
Yeah, so that will be, can be in a summary and
Mhm.
can be mentioned. Yeah,
Do you have any status update on the Penquist Links program, the grant, Tony? Is
I
that
mean, there's no,
continuing?
I mean, Penquist Links is still running. I don't have it, or as far as, yeah, what's going on with funding there. Yeah. I don't. Yep, and going forward, of course, we had in there, we established the food council, so I'm very happy that we can say, you know, with the collaborative, and there's things that we can plug in there. Yeah, because reach out to any of the partners that are working on this stuff, and the library did a ton of stuff, so I know. As far as a lot of the social activities and, yeah. All the gatherings, yeah, and the stuff that you're gonna talk about today, this other stuff that you started, right? Yeah, and is there anything, the other thing is like, you know, what have you learned that will inform future work? So some of it just,
I have a question.
sure,
I
I
know
might,
it was
might or might
not-
not have an answer, yeah.
You put the plan together in the first place as Barbara
Right,
and Sarah know. And I'm wondering, are you thinking of seeking some additional capacity to help write the revised or new plan? I mean, I have this A4TD stuff that I'm gonna talk about in a second,
Okay.
and that comes to mind, but,
okay,
and I know there's been cuts to AmeriCorps, but there's similar type programs,
Okay.
and I'm wondering if that that we should be thinking.
no, I appreciate you, you know, you bringing that up, so that, that's one of the, there's something for less, like this to be sustained over time. Can't just come back to one point person. Yeah, how do we share the work, and you know, this is a, committee of the municipality and, how we meet the needs of our community and tapping in on the resources that we have here, so. Yeah,
That sounds like a really-
okay, yeah. All right, so I guess, I just know I'm gonna continue to work on, this document and I will just send it out to folks to like, yeah, give you some, progress to put in the progress notes. And we'll have to have another work
Yeah.
session or figure out how we're gonna create what our new
Big patch.
plan would look like going forward and, the domains that we wanna work on and in, and that sort of thing, so. All right. So that will take us down to, member updates. And I can go ahead and, I know Barbara, we had been talking about,
Yes,
The farmer's market.
Tracy has the main update, which is she's been in touch with a student volunteer to do the hikers booth backdrop. That's the new exciting element of the coming farmer's market. Do you want to speak to
Sure.
that, Tracy?
So actually Diana connected me to a student at Stearns who's working on some artwork. And we're gonna digitize it and put it on a banner so that if we can move it around, but basically it's a celebration of either starting or finishing the Appalachian Trail and having hikers come into the area and people that are excited to get out in the nature. And so they can take pictures there and, so I'm just waiting to hear from her. She was gonna get me, you know, some rough drafts of ideas that she had and also, what her cost was gonna be, but the collaborative is gonna take care of that.
I love
Very
the
good.
idea of it being digitized and, oh, can we possibly make it July 5th date, the first
I'm
market?
hoping, yeah, it just depends on. And she seems. lovely and-
Because we only have 4 markets this year.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
And she's super talented, yeah.
The great news is that if it's a banner, we can use it for other things as well, so.
Yep, it's a great idea.
and, Barbara's worked on sort of a press release or something we can get in the newspaper that I'll.
Yes, Jane's sister has an inn or works for the Lincoln News.
Yep.
So, I will tweak this and add what Louis suggested, it's a repeat of what's on our town website, but just to have it there so people are real clear the kinds of products that are okay for the market. And if you have prepared food, you'd need an additional license. I doubt if we would have that, but you never know. So if anybody else has any additions to it, and then we're also going to have an ad in the same issue, which will be a kind of a recruiting ad. Announcing the market, but also encouraging people to. Not just to attend the market but to become a vendor and possibly to volunteer to help, so. And I'll be working on that, I guess, with Amber and you on that.
I'm not gonna, I mean, with me, we'll find out. I haven't spoken to Amber, but as
Okay.
far as creating, I need to come to a Canva.
They're
Creating an
very
aid,
good.
yeah,
I went to the
I
last
know.
one.
But it's gonna be paid for by Age Friendly Committee or?
Or Thrive, yeah, I'll
Okay,
check with to see what
okay.
we have for funds left, or if
Okay.
I need to, I can dig into my grant funds, but
Okay.
we'll make sure it's out
Okay.
there, yeah. Yep, no, I think,
Otherwise, I don't have any exciting updates for the
Yeah.
market, so.
nope. Nope, that's good. So as far as a update. Anybody else? Sue?
I'm going to be, I picked up a few more clients for Senior Check-in Maine, for the call-in service. Either live or digital, and I will be adding, what they call it PERS, but it's really a medical alert. And they use the terminology Personal Emergency Response System. And I've got a company I'm looking at right now, and I want to introduce that to complement what I already have. And with this one that I'm looking at, it has different selections. You can get a watch band, you can get just different areas. And in addition to that, it has a GPS with it. So if you go shopping and you fall, that'll be noted. And also if you're at home, the fall aspect of it will be coordinated with the whole thing. I don't know how to put it into terms, but with the program itself. In order to purchase it. So I thought, well, that's pretty good. I'm
Yeah.
kind of excited about that. And I have a few other ideas as well. I feel the more I can put in that and add in every once in a while, then I can get a broader base is what I'm looking
Right.
for. And I contacted AARP and I'm able to use any of their articles, which I
Okay, on
find,
your website.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and as well as with the Facebook page. So I thought that was pretty exciting, and I've reached out to a few others. So it's gonna take time, and I've picked up a few more clients, couple, Southern Maine and Aroostook County. It's slow and steady, and I'm persistent. And I enjoy doing it, you know, so I will continue to do that. I joined Canva. I missed the other class and I was playing with it last night. And I signed up for the monthly part of it, and I want to do my own flyers is what I want to do.
Cool, yeah.
So I enjoy doing things like that, so it keeps me busy and
Yeah.
out of trouble. Who could ask for more?
That's right.
And be sure to have a packet for me, at the farmer's market, because
Mhm.
I'm gonna have a
Oh.
resource table there.
Okay, thank you, yes. So that's where I'm at
Very
with
good.
that. It's exciting, it takes a while, but I enjoy it.
You
So-
just made me think, we'll have to link up your website with the Thrive Penobscot website.
Okay,
We're just
yes.
Trying to update.
And the
Our resources
resources
on
have
it.
been getting a hold of me in Maine. Can you put us in there? Can
Okay.
you put these links in there?
Yeah.
We have articles.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, people are looking, and the
Yeah.
name itself sells itself within Maine, Senior Check in
Senior
Maine,
Check in Maine.
you know, so. We're getting there anyway, and I do hope to add more into the Facebook with happenings within the community. I've been doing that more. And the flyers, I can put that into the Facebook page, I mean, my website, and have a place just for events
Yep.
as time goes on, so anything I can do to help,
Very good.
but that's where I'm at with
Yeah.
that, and I'm all done.
And you're all done reporting out, yeah?
Yeah.
No, because I'm gonna be, I was looking through our, in our action plan, you know, we were looking to establish some sort of call-in program, and we
Mhm.
never were able to materialize that, I mean, that to materialize, so this will be like, you're kind of taking.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
No, that's a
taking
good
place
thing,
of
yeah.
that, so that there is a, as far as a check-in
Okay.
opportunity, so. no.
And I will join Canva if you ever have a class again in the future. I just missed it. I wasn't interested until I thought, that's
Until
not a
you were-
bad thing.
Right, right.
I'll record it next time. That's okay.
Uh,
Something that Sue and Barbara were just talking about reminded me, yesterday we had a meeting about heating security. And the idea of like hosting an in-person resource fair came up. And it sounds like that's happening in mini form at the
Huh,
farmer's
that's
market and other
true, yeah.
places, but I'm just wondering if there's interest in doing something like that as a committee. I think that might have been in the plan too.
As far as community resource, yeah, there's different
Yeah.
ways that, yeah,
I
Yeah.
know like Kristen talked about the one in
yeah,
Bangor,
yeah.
or Bangor area, that Eastern area had done, I mean, there are models out there to work from, but
Yeah.
just throwing it out there, if there's
Mhm.
interest.
That sounds good, yeah.
Cause then, I mean, you could table and other for-profit or nonprofit vendors that might appeal to, you know, it could be tailored towards
Yeah.
older adults, but.
It's a good idea.
Very good.
This is this is a weird thing, and it's kind of, but I just participated in a focus group for New England Rural Health Association. And they're revamping their website, for rural Maine. It's a rural Maine field guide, health field guide. And it sounds like the link to your business or
Mhm.
group would be an excellent addition to that.
Okay.
So let me get your information. so
Oh,
I can
sure.
Give it to them,
Yes,
yeah. I think it would be awesome just to have you as a resource.
well, thank you.
Yeah, of
That's nice.
So you're thinking like a weekday afternoon, like, and 2 hours or something, or?
Yeah.
I think
I'm
we
trying
should,
to get groups like Thankless or, you know, a lot of those
Yeah.
services that touch our area but aren't here. I mean, I know we're doing live signups, but just some kind of general resource fair, and maybe it's in a bigger space than.
yeah,
than
let's do
now,
it.
But
Let's commit and make a date.
I know.
Why not? I think it's a good idea.
I'm just trying to figure out who would kind of own
Right.
it, like
Right.
as a project, you know, because it is a lot of. work.
I would volunteer to be there at the table.
Mhm.
I can walk across the street almost any time.
Well, I don't know if this is the.
Oh, it
Place that
wouldn't
they-
necessarily be
yeah.
here, okay.
For cabling type events, it could
Right.
be, that maybe it's ATEC or I guess, well, if it's age friendly, they'll knock it out. I
We
don't know
need
how
to-
strict
yeah,
you are about
right.
that, but maybe it's.
Or is it an outdoor something if it's a nice day and we can set out, you know, in a nice green space? Yeah, we need to think about that.
That helps us, always kind of like my default for bigger events, and they have already the tables there, I
Mhm.
don't know what the.
Or possibly even at Boreal, people could,
Mhm.
you know, buy something to eat at Yum and the tables could be outside or
Yep.
people come to Boreal, so even if they weren't coming for the research, they would bump into
Right,
it. you
right,
know.
or to the bakery there, or
Yep.
just out and around there, yeah, no, it's something to grow the idea for sure. And figure out, you know, like who the participants are and what the big draw is, really, yeah, like, what's gonna get people to stop by.
Jane, before I forget, could you make a note? I have a positive report about the Rural Development Authority grant that kind of was granted and then lapsed and then was reignited by Angus King's office. I think that might be a nice note to add to our report, so.
Oh, to go into.
Success, yeah, that helping our residents connect with grants for home repairs. It's a lot of work, but it sometimes works out, but,
We'll find out where you can plug that in.
yep,
Okay. Yeah.
because that was, it's $10,000 grant for repairs for somebody who really needed it, so.
Other updates?
Just on the resource idea, do you want me to ask Randy if Boreal could possibly be a host for that, or?
I don't know, are we there yet? I know we just had that original meeting this week.
Yeah, I think we would maybe. We need to figure out who might be willing to actually execute it
Participate, yeah.
before asking about
Okay.
dates and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, it could even be in the fall, you know, prior to the heating needs.
And that's
things like
kind of
that.
what came up, yeah, that it was,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
Late
almost
summer.
September, like.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think we need to grow the idea a little bit. You know, figure-
Well, so I went to the burger today. And I just see it kind of like that, like something where people could potentially walk through or. You know, however they're handling it. So. It just gave me an idea of like, you know, how Kyle kind of like gets. People organized and. Some, you know, assembled together, so I think we just. We need to decide if we're gonna do it. And. Yeah, put a little committee together.
Yeah.
But
So-
in the meantime, if you have any new flyers for me for the farmer's market for my resource table, let me know.
We got one, so I would.
Yeah, I know,
say,
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll
I'm
call.
varying sizes now.
Yeah.
So that could probably lead into your updates then, right, Diana?
Sure.
Yeah.
There's some fun things. Okay, just wanted to remind everyone that senior coffee chat is still happening every other
Good.
Monday, or first and third Monday. We have a new flyer, just to remind people that it's still happening. We've had some great guest speakers. I don't know if Stephanie did one yet, but historical societies coming in. We've had different groups presenting, and so if you know of some resource, like maybe even Sue wants to come in and share about
Okay.
senior tech in Maine.
Do you-
I can connect
know
you to
about it?
Nicole here. to,
I posted it, but with that, I
I'll
can
take it
scan
out.
it and get it in my
And I'll send you
website.
out to the email after on Zoom.
Yeah.
On flyers. This is also kind of geared towards all ages, but we have a monthly mending meetup. So you can come, bring clothes to mend, share mending skills. We have sewing machines, all the supplies. We do not have the expertise, but we have you. So it's just kind of about coming together, having some snacks, and I think it's a really cool potential, like, intergenerational thing. Too, if you know,
Yeah.
older and younger folks who might want to share knowledge, so I will put that out there as well. I brought my personal sewing machine. It's available for use.
Is that gonna go all through the summer? You know?
That's the plan right now, yeah. I mean, we've only done 2 so far, so
You want one?
And then this one's exciting, chair yoga. We originally were gonna work with EAAA on it and ended up just, I guess there's been some changes with like federal funding to be able to, it's kind of a long story, but we're doing it with Tori Gray, who has done stretching and yoga classes over at Studio One. It'll be here, let's see, Wednesdays from 10:30 to 11:30, very gentle, intended for people with mobility concerns. And yeah, it's we did find some grant funding to be able to pay the teacher, but there's a suggested donation and no big deal if, you can pay nothing, you can pay a little more, you can pay the suggested donation of $5. So there was this.
And that's 8 sessions, I think, is that right?
8 sessions
Okay.
is what we have scheduled right now.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
and
I think that's really good for me to know. I know the
I know,
diabetes
that's,
prevention class that I facilitate, that was people are interested in this, so if maybe she'll broaden her scope, or I can tell
Yeah.
people about this.
I should bring one of those to his wife. Yoga, I'll show you. Yoga.
Nice.
and then last.
I'll text her when I get home.
I know some of you were at the A4TD information session that we had for employers the other day. But I did want to bring up this as a resource for people 55 plus who might want to plug into a job opportunity. A4TD is the federal program. They're able to pay people 55 plus for a work experience. They have to be under a certain income level and have barriers to employment, but barriers could be being in a rural place like this. There's a lot of ways that people could qualify, and the experiences are generally anywhere from 1 to 4 years. They pair them with nonprofits, so like I thought of it immediately for Thrive Penobscot in terms of getting someone to help with the plan, developing a new plan. And I just wanted to let you all know about it. I have some of the flyers about this, and we're going to be doing another information session. This one is targeted towards people who might want to participate in the program on June 5th.
I think so.
Good with numbers, June 5th.
Pretty sure.
Here at the library, so, yeah, I have flyers on that.
Okay.
They all kind of say the same thing, I don't know why there's 4 different ones, so
Right.
sorry about that.
Did you want?
I don't
one?
need, I don't need,
Yeah, lots,
I don't need.
My calendar's busy enough.
lots of programs, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is there anybody on the screen?
Yeah. So this year will be my first time going, but the Healthy Aging Expo is next week on the 22nd. I believe that's a Thursday.
Okay.
From 10 to 2 at Anna Shriners on Broadway in Bangor. I've never been. I've heard lots of really wonderful things. I'll be there working the welcome table as people come in the morning. But I think last year there were like 70 something vendors. Larissa can probably give more specifics about who all was there, but I think it's anything from, home support services to travel and education and all sorts of stuff. I've heard that if you bring a bag, you will fill it with free swag at the event. But yeah, wanted to mention that because that's pretty exciting.
Say that date again,
The 22nd, next Thursday,
next Thursday. Okay.
Yep. From 10 to 2, I think.
I wonder where we could learn from that.
Right, I was,
Apply to doing a resource fair here, just in terms of like
right,
what vendors and how to, door prizes or things like that to make it a fun event.
Yeah, ours is relatively large scale. And I've told people, as I've gone to different age-friendly groups and whatnot, that at least for the first part of the expo, usually there's a lot of people. And there's, if you want to go just to get the swag, then, go first thing. But if you really want to go just, to actually talk to the vendors and find out some information, you might want to wait a little while until the crowd dies off just a little bit. That's what I've been telling people, but there's gonna be a food truck on site. But yeah, raffle, I think, and 50/50. We're gonna have our own tables there, explaining our programs. There'll also be some, floating around, asking questions, answering questions, whatnot. And yeah, there's, as Stephanie said, there's people from anything from, home care to traveling to, rides. I think Penquist will be there. Yeah, there's lots of different, vendors. And we cover, the 4 counties of Penobscot, Piscataquis, Washington, and Hancock. So there's usually something there for, for everybody. So we really encourage everybody to attend that if they can. Something else I want to bring up is the Older Mainers Act. There are 5 area agencies on aging in the state, and the executive directors of those agencies have gotten together and put together a state bill, which is LD 814, and that's the Older Mainers Act. And provided this passes, it would provide more funding for Meals on Wheels, Medicare assistance, other programs within the agencies on aging. So we've been encouraging people to reach out to their state and local reps to encourage them to pass this along. It's been going well so far. It needs to get to the governor's office, and who knows, even if it isn't fully funded, whether it'll be, partially funded at least. But that's LD 814, Older Mainers Act. And I sent a flyer to Jane. And so yeah, and those are the 2 bigger, things right now for Eastern area.
I think after the last meeting, you sent something out to the whole group. Was that about the expo?
I think it was the
Or-
expo and the Older Mainers Act, maybe. May
I
have
want to
said both.
say, yeah, okay, take the responsibility off me for not passing it on. You need to send it to everybody.
I've sent things to different people, so I'm like, what did I
I
do?
know, yeah, yeah. And I'm just wondering, like Stephanie, like you'll be at that expo for, Eastern area, but as far as, like thinking about the Katahdin region, like what of those resources actually covers our region that would be appropriate maybe to ask if we did have a resource fair here, like, I don't know if you could just.
I could do some, I think I'm done at the table at noon. So, and I planned on walking around anyway, so I can do some
Little investigative
investigative work.
stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah, because we don't want to have resources up here that they don't cover that area, cover area, like we bring them up here, because it's available for us, our residents here, that sort of thing, but yeah. Very good. So LD 14. All right. Anybody else on Zoom? Anything we need to know about updates? Okay. We covered everything? I don't think I have anything else in other. I put that conveniently there. Other than if we stay the course for our next meeting date could be June 10th at 2 p.m. if that, the second Tuesday. Of the month.
Oh.
It's already used, have you gone ahead and done that? Very good. So we'll stick with that, and then I guess you will have to be watching for emails from me as I'm working on the progress notes for our progress report, our action plan report, so. Seeing no other agenda items or anything burning issues, I guess we will call this meeting to close at 2:47. We may adjourn.
Think about a move.
Yeah,
Well done, my goodness.
look at that. And go out and enjoy this the great sunshine out there.
Yes.
We all little vitamin D.